So for a while before I announced I'm going to write a second book, it was just really freeing to say, I don't know, like, I don't know. And I'm okay with that. And I think like it's okay to say that. And it takes a lot of confidence too to say that, right? Like, I don't know, but I mean, I figure it out as I go, right? And that's what really confidence is. Sometimes we just figure things out as we go. Like instead of ready, aim, fire, it's like ready, fire, aim. You just take action. If you make mistakes, you just course correct along the way.
You are now listening to the podcast where authors inspire listeners to become authors, the Going North Podcast. I'm your host, certified self-leadership trainer, best-selling author, and book enthusiast, DomBrightmon. And you're going to be listening to a different author that will inspire you to join the business of immortality, known as authorship. Now let the fun begin. Today's episode is sponsored by book number 2 from DomBrightmon, Stay the Course, The Elite Performer's 7 Secret Keys to Sustainable Success. It is the field guide to help unleash the elite performer that is inside of you. Cop it today on Amazon.com or heading over to DomBrightmon.com and snag it in book, ebook, and audiobook so that way you can take it on the go and get yourself on the go to your northbound success. And today on the Highlight Reel, builder for authors known as the Going North Podcast, we got another super special, awesome human for you today, courtesy of one of the best sites on earth right now for podcast hosts, known as podcastguest.com. And we got another super special, awesome guest, baby. That's right, indeed, because we got one of those rare occasions where we have one of those wonderful, wonderful Wall Street Journal best-selling author, y'all. That's right, indeed. That's a rare list to get on. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed, because they make sure you do all the hard work, baby. And this guest has done it because she's a wonderful keynote speaker as well as a consultant and an award-winning podcaster. So she's a bookcaster, y'all. She's not only put pen to paper, but she knows how to rock the mic like a boulder when it's not even in Colorado. So let's give it up for the sensational, the youthful, and courageous Sheena Yap Chan. How you doing today, Sheena?
Hey, Dom, thank you so much for having me. And that was just a phenomenal introduction. I mean, you have like the best voice for podcasting. So I just wanted to say that.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it indeed. That's right, indeed. From one podcaster to another, we know all about the potting. Yeah, but hey, funny enough, speaking of podcasting, I'm pretty sure there's probably a whole bunch of stuff in the intro I probably forgot. So mine filling in any cavities I may have missed about you, Sheena.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Sheena Yap Chan. As Dom mentioned, I am a Wall Street Journal bestselling author, keynote speaker, podcaster, consultant on building self-confidence and leadership. I also help clients with consulting and book marketing by helping them create a unique messaging blueprint, book blueprint. So I love everything in media. So that's why I do what I do. Other than that, I was born in the Philippines, moved to Toronto when I was 7. All the work that I did really started out of my childhood, not being able to see anybody that looked like me in the media, felt ashamed of my own culture, wanted to have blonde hair and blue eyes to feel beautiful. And it wasn't until my 20s when I decided to dye my hair back from blonde to my original hair color where I finally embraced my culture. In 2015, I was looking for resources that really catered to Asian women's confidence just because I was dealing with my own issues and I couldn't find any, which totally makes sense because culturally we're not told to talk about the things that we go through. So I started a podcast called the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I've interviewed over 800 women on the topic of self-confidence, which has been crazy. It's been a little over 8 years since I've started that. And that was at a time where Asian podcasters were very rare. And, as much as I love podcasting, I really wanted to create more visibility. I wanted to go global and create something to especially create better representation for Asian women and beyond. So in February of 2021, we co-created a book called Women Who Boss Up, Asian Women Who Boss Up, which is right here. And it's part of a book series that we started out of the pandemic called Women Who Boss Up. So we've launched 10 books from different themes, different amazing authors. We've created over 200 authors have this amazing community, and we're always, continuing to release more books because people don't realize when it comes to readers, over 60% are women, but yet there's still not a lot of books written by women. And then last year, I had the opportunity to work with Wiley on my current book called The Tao of Self-Confidence, A Guide to Moving Beyond Trauma and Awakening the Leader Within. And this is not your typical leadership book. I realized that when I was looking at leadership books, there's a lot of rigid manuals, which is great, but we definitely need to, peel the layer of onions, really go deep, figure out what's holding us back. Because sometimes there's something traumatic in our life that we're not even aware of that's really holding us back to show up as our best self. And we have to, go and figure out the foundation first before we can move forward. So this is really a guide to like figure out, what are some of the traumatic experiences you've been through. And sometimes it's not even our own traumatic experience that we carry. We also carry the traumatic experience of our parents, grandparents, and so on. So yeah, this is a little bit deep and a little bit uncomfortable, but it's a great book to really just figure out, what has been stopping it, asking the right questions so you can find solutions to move forward. And especially after the pandemic, there's been a huge mental health crisis, right? And we definitely need a lot of healing. Like humanity in general needs a lot of healing with what's been going on in the world. And so this is a great book to start with as a reference. I'm not a licensed mental health therapist, so make sure you just go and, seek one if needed, the right kind of help. But there's a lot of studies and personal experience that I also include in the book. So it's kind of crazy to have a book by one of the top 5 publishers in the world and to just be able to create this message and go global, because being able to see it in countries like Singapore, the Philippines, in continents like Australia, I was like, oh my goodness, like this is so awesome, and I never thought this would have been possible.
Yeah, possible indeed. From possibility to reality, you love to freaking see it. Indeed, that's right, indeed. Did you get the blue context too to fully go try to go full non-cultural back then before you said, "All right, this is way too much. These blue contacts are messing with my
Oh,
vision
no,
here."
no, no. I didn't do the contacts, just the blonde. I dyed my hair blonde. That was
Okay.
it. And I don't know if contacts were like fake contacts were like in back then. I mean, I'm a little bit older, so I don't know if they had that back in the day, but definitely I dyed my hair blonde. And it wasn't real, and the only reason why I decided to color it back to my original hair color was just because it was expensive to, like, retouch
Yeah.
my roots, Like, it was, like, $80 a pop, and that was, like, almost 20 years ago, so I was like, "There's no way I'm paying that much just to retouch, like, 3 inches of my hair," and so that's why I was like, "I'm going back to my original hair color," and then once I saw myself in the mirror with my original hair color, that's when I realized, like, oh my God, like this is finally me. This is who I am, and I'm just gonna embrace this. So what turned into a Asian cheap moment became my realization.
Funny enough, it doesn't even have to be Asian cheap. There's a lot of cheap folks from all freaking cultures too. Like folks will say that for just about any body indeed. And you're so right. It's like, man, and $80 back then, like now it's probably, I don't know, probably at least double maybe. So yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's like, hey, some folks have cigarettes, some have hair dye. But not anymore in your case. And my goodness, my goodness. That was like really, I guess, starting your podcast too, now that you have 800 episodes deep within it with all these wonderful guests and 5 days a week. Were you always 5 days a week?
Only like the first 5 years, and then I was like, okay, I think I have a lot now to give to the world. I'm going to lessen it down a bit and focus on other things. I really wanted to create, a lot more, representation in different forms of media, right? I mean, I love podcasting, don't get me wrong. It's how it got me to where I am today, but it's still a very small platform compared to other forms of media, right? Video, TV, print. I was like, I need to diversify my media so I can create better representation for Asian women out there. I want us to be seen as strong and courageous versus quiet and submissive, because that's how we're constantly seen, and it's frustrating sometimes, right? I mean, last year there was an article by the Austin Chronicle that, it was basically a manual on how to get an Asian male order bride. And it was also a sponsored post, which was even worse because they got money for it. And and for me, that's a slap in the face because people don't understand what mail order brides go through. So it's not just Asian women. Like I know it happens in a lot of countries. But because of that, they think we're just a catalog, like an item on a catalog that you can order. And someone that they can just like use and abuse because they bought them off a certain catalog. So, I was furious. I was like, it's 2022. Why are we talking about this? And then, to have mainstream media say they're progressive and they have that kind of article was just a slap in the face. So, I decided to talk about it, to call it out, to reach out to people of higher influence to call it out, and they were able to take it down. But I mean, as someone who professes being progressive, they should really, watch what they put out. And especially in journalism, there is still like an integrity you have to live by, a code of ethics. And for something like that to go out, it takes many people to approve that, not just one person. So, I mean, things like this happen, right? But it's up to us to call it out, even if it's scary, right? We don't know what's going to happen, right? We don't know what the consequences are, but it's like, this is not just about me. This is for every other woman out there who's been through hell just being an Asian mail order bride, right? Like people don't realize they get prostituted by their families, they get abused sexually, physically, and mentally. They're like a prison in that home. Like there's so many things that people don't know about. And I know this is not often talked about, but it happens.
Yeah, you're right. It's definitely crazy. Yeah, it definitely is crazy. Like that would be an actual article. You like outside looking in. I feel like that should be something you have to look for on the deep web or something like that. Because you got to be embarrassed, especially to look for a mail order bride, let alone finding an article in plain sight about it. Like what the hell, man? Because I imagine a majority of them, and I don't know too much about it, were probably sex trafficked. So it's like, dude, what the hell? You're basically helping a bad business that's not really good for anybody. So that's good that you're able to get that taken down. Cause yeah, that
Yeah,
definitely sucks a lot that we still have to deal with that in so-called progressive modern society. And at the end of the day, we still got our good old primitive brains in here. Some of them are a little too primitive and too dark and don't want to
yeah.
grow. So yeah. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So my goodness, so how wildly fine you did you like upload episode 500 and they're like, yeah, we need to get this chick a book deal. Like, how'd it go? Were you seeking the deal or
Oh
did
no,
they
I
find you like
wasn't.
a magnet?
It's funny. Like in all honesty, I never thought of writing a book represented by a big publisher. Not because I didn't believe in myself, because I was happy with the book that I had, Asian Women Who Boss Up. We had 18 stories of amazing Asian women who are able to forge their own path, overcome obstacles, and thrive. And it aligned with everything that I stood for, right? And it was because of that book, it really led me to Wiley. I don't know if it's because they love what I was talking about. They just saw something in me, which I'm truly grateful because they're really awesome, very supportive. In fact, I'll be writing another book with them that's coming out or in like spring of 2025. So
Sweet.
which is really awesome, right? And if you look at the number of Asian authors in the publishing world is still very low, right? And we're just, people of color in general, right? It's still very low. So the fact that people don't realize there's reports saying that to get a book deal is only like it's like a 1 to 2% chance, like getting your first book deal. So the fact that I got a second one, I'm like very, very grateful. Like I'm very grateful that they believe in me so much, right? And because they believe in me so much, like I'm out there pimping this book out like no tomorrow. And that's what most people don't understand, right? Like everyone wants to write a book, but they don't even know why they want to write a book, right? Is it just for clout? Like, do you want to make money with it? Like, there's so many things you can do with a book. It's crazy, right? And I know this may be like crazy examples, but we'll just pick like J.K. Rowling, right? Harry Potter. It was a book series. It turned to a multi-million dollar movie franchise. There's lots of merch. Like, you buy a wand for like $80. Like, really? Because it has like Harry Potter on it. they have a theme park, not just in the US, but like in Japan. I like all of that started with book. And if people don't like, if the people can't see beyond that, like, they're just leaving a lot of money on the table, right? And there's so many people who want to write a book, and it takes them like 7 years, not realizing you're wasting a lot of like untapped potential because you're so afraid of writing that book. I get it. It's daunting, right? And we have a lot of keyboard warriors who are going to be like,
Ah,
you're
yeah.
stupid, or I mean, I've gotten a lot of like hate too, right? Like, I've had people tell me that I was playing the victim mindset. I need to go back to China. I need to shut up. I'm stupid. But I mean, that all comes with the territory, and we just keep moving forward. We just keep doing the work. We just keep showing up, because you know what? Some of those people, like, if their profile photo is a cat, like, are you really that like scared? They're probably more scared than us because they can't even show their real face. And
Mhm.
I know some of them are probably using their insecurities and transferring it to us. And can it affect us mentally? Yes, of course. Online bullying is real, right?
Uh-huh.
It is real, and it can get to us. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't get to me. Sometimes it does, and I have to like step away from it because I need to protect my mental health, right? I have a support system that I can talk to that, gives me reassurance. And so it's crazy. So that, this happen and it happens to women a lot more than men, right? Like, women get vilified for every single thing. Like, if we like, wear a certain item to the grocery store, if, we do something, and sometimes, it's not even the men who's attacking us. Unfortunately, sometimes it's the women, and that's why we don't advance as much as men, right? Like, I've seen a lot of men interact, and it's so different. Like, they say hi to each other, they call, like, they connect, they're like buddies for life, they exchange business cards, and then it's like, okay, let's talk business the next time we see each other. And it's that simple. And I'm like, wow, right? And I'm not trying to like put women down. I'm just saying we're also part of the problem, and we have to admit that too, right? There's like, especially moms, right? There's moms out there who like do mom shaming, mom guilt, which is really bad. I think every mom is just doing the best that they can, especially single moms. It's not easy. It's, being a mother is the most underrated and underpaid job in the world. If you're a single woman, it's like you're considered an outcast to society. And it's like, why is that? Even though this woman has so many accolades and has created so much, good in this world, it's like you're a failure because you're single, right? Like, there's so many things I can go on, and it'd probably take a long time, but I even think I probably like went off the wrong topic. So I apologize for that.
Hey, a lot of stuff you touched on indeed, because yeah, a lot of darn keyboard warriors out there who hide behind cat photos and no photos and animated photos. It's like, yeah, all that wonderful fear, just showing off their lack of knowledge and just wanting to make people feel bad because they probably feel bad. And then, of course, yeah, a lot of groups out there too, especially single moms, get a bad rap, but it's like, I mean, it's a hard job. You gotta be disciplinarian and caregiver. It's like you're walking around with 7 different personalities by default because you don't have a tag team partner at the moment, and you wanna be careful if you bring in a tag team partner into the situation because that's a huge trust thing. It's like, "Hey, you got my kid here." So, yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on indeed. So, my goodness. So what are you excited about over the next 6 to 12 months? You got this new fabulous book coming out in 2025. Is there you have any idea what topic you're gonna touch on, or is that G14 classified?
Oh yeah, that's a little on the DL. So we'll just you'll just see it as I go. Like, if you follow me, I'll talk about my whole writing journey. So I'll be focusing on writing the second book, doing some speaking, creating more books on the Women Who Boss Up book series, and planning to travel as well. So, I mean, it's funny because like, sometimes people are like, especially when the first book came out, this book, they're like, okay, well, what's your next step? And I would get like a lot of anxiety because I was like, I don't know. And I feel like I was a failure if I didn't know what I want, if I didn't have a next step. And I just felt really bad. And then I realized, like, that's also part of my culture because we've always been ingrained to, like, do the next thing, do the next thing, do the next thing. Especially, like, as Asian women, we're supposed to serve everybody else and forget who to serve, right? So for a while before I was, before I announced I'm gonna write a second book, it was just really freeing to say, "I don't know." You know? Like, I don't know, and I'm okay with that. And I think, like, it's okay to say that. And it takes a lot of confidence too to say that, right? Like, I don't know, but I mean, I figure it out as I go, right? And that's what really confidence is. Sometimes we just figure things out as we go. Like instead of ready, aim, fire, it's like ready, fire, aim. You just take action. If you make mistakes, you just course correct along the way. And I know as women, it's hard because we go through so many double standards by society. We overthink a lot. I mean, I still overthink a lot. I procrastinate a lot, but I do my best to get out of my own way and just do it and just hope for the best, right? Whatever happens, it's either a blessing or a lesson. But as women, we are capable of going out there, making the first move, taking it one step at a time, and also not have to do it alone, right? If women collaborated more on projects like this is how we can move forward. We can, create more quality, be seen in a better light. And so for me, I always say you don't have to do this alone, right? Connect with a coach, connect with a community, read amazing books, listen to podcasts, be okay to ask for help because I know it's not easy. And I mean, I come from a culture where asking for help is considered a weakness or a handout. So yeah, it was hard for me just to even ask for help. But you just never know what happens when you just go out there and ask.
Ah, there you go. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. That's right. That ask muscle. It's a beautiful muscle when you work it out. That's right. Do a lot of asking. That's right indeed. It's for the good of the people. That's right. Well, do some good asking. Don't do the whole begging thing where it's like, hey, you got
Yeah.
some spare change right here. It's like, oh, nah, ask for 100. Let me stop. Beloved said earlier about, hey, it's either a blessing or a lesson. So, my goodness, what would you consider a major, or at least it could even be your biggest setback that actually became your biggest success?
Honestly, I tried to do everything myself. And as women, that's what we try to do, everything ourselves. And it's exhausting and it delays our own success. And it wasn't until I started asking for help, connecting myself with a community that supports me, that's when everything turned around. I realized I didn't have to do everything myself. I have a support system. If I'm feeling bad about myself, I can talk to somebody about it. If there's someone who's better at me at doing at a certain thing, I can like hire them to do it versus like me trying to figure it out. Because sometimes it's costing us more money to try and figure things out ourselves than to like, just hire someone and it helps you just get more revenue. That was a hard lesson for me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely indeed. Yeah, exactly. Because hey, trying to do it all on your own. It's like, yeah, I'm scared I'm gonna look incompetent in front of people. But truth be told, it probably makes you look more competent because it shows that you have the confidence to acknowledge, hey, I don't know everything, Dingo, but I need some experts here. That's what I'm talking about indeed. That's what I'm talking about indeed. Well, funny enough, with this magical book in front of me staring at me, the wonderful Tao of Self-Confidence, I didn't even get your definition of self-confidence. Probably should have asked it earlier in the conversation. So what is Sheena's definition of self-confidence and how can folks start to make that happen and grow in their lives?
Yeah, I think self-confidence is, of course, this may sound cheesy because I'm sure everybody hears it, but it's really having that belief in yourself that you're capable of doing something, right? Even if it means you're doing it 100 times to get there, like just do it, right? And like having that belief in yourself is so important because if without it, you're not going to go out there and do things. So I usually share like a three-step process, and that's the first one, believing in yourself. The next one is educate yourself on different ways to build self-confidence. I used to think that being confident, you had to be loud and boisterous and be out there. But really, you can be a like a confident introvert, right? Actions speak louder than words. And so find ways that works for you. If reading is not your thing, then listen to an audiobook. If you don't like to meditate, go out and jog. Like find something that you enjoy doing, right? Test it out. And then of course, the most important part is taking action, right? There's no results if you don't take action. And especially as women, the number one reason why we have low self-confidence is due to inaction. So you just go out there, take action, make mistakes. It's not going to be perfect. You're gonna fumble, that's for sure. But you can pick yourself back up, course correct, and keep moving forward. And you'd be surprised how much you can accomplish. Even till this day, I still make a lot of mistakes, like a lot. I don't show up as perfect. I make a lot of grammar mistakes actually, and my sister always makes fun of me. She's like, "I don't know how you became a writer. Like your grammar's terrible." She's like the grammar police. But I was like, okay, I mean, I'll just correct it, right? That's what an edit button is for. So yeah, and just take it one step at a time. Like you don't have to make big leaps to build confidence. Like, Rome wasn't built in a day, and that's what I tell people. So don't expect yourself, that you can just have confidence overnight. Not saying it's not possible, but I just feel like if you take the small daily actionable steps, that's what yields to your confidence. Like an example is maybe you want to write a book because everybody wants to write a book, but you think it's daunting, right? So just start with 1 page a day. If you wrote 1 page a day for a whole year straight, you would have a full book or maybe two books. You can split it into two books. So those are some of the tips. And also ask for help. Like you don't have to do it alone.
Yeah, that's right indeed. That's right indeed. Don't have to do it alone. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. You don't have to be an abominable snow woman in a land of polar bears. That's right indeed. You can move like the other polar bears. That's right indeed. Don't have to stay stuck. That's right indeed. Especially when there's a carrot for a nose. That's right indeed. Or a banana. You never know. Never know. That's right indeed. But yeah, so I could have since you've been on so many interviews on both sides of the microphone, is there a question that you wish folks would ask you more often when you're on the guest side of the game, Sheena?
No, not really. I mean, I've learned to just go with the flow. Even if there's a question someone asks me and I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't know what to answer." I like have this weird like, "Oh no, what do I do?" I have to like kind of pause for a bit and kind of give the best answer that I can. Or sometimes like sometimes it's like, I don't know. And I think that's also okay because like I know sometimes like, "Oh, you're the expert. You should know everything." But I don't. I'm always constantly learning too. So
Yep, it's true. It's true indeed. That's right. Always learning and growing. Well, speaking of learning and growing, I always got to ask one of those obligatory podcast hosting questions. That's your fellow host. So, what would you consider your three major lessons learned from starting, running, and growing your magical podcast?
just start messy. It's not going to be perfect. Be clear, not clever. So make sure you have a clear message and a clear intention as to why you're starting your podcast. And support. Like having a support system really helps, right? I was lucky to be in a support system with other podcasters when I didn't even know what a podcast was. And I still go to them till this day, right? So those are the three tips I would share.
She's dialed in like a rotary phone, y'all. That's right, indeed. She spouted those off with ease. You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it, indeed. That's right, indeed. It's good that you're still with those wonderful support colleagues, indeed, because it's true. You're loving your message of, hey, or at least one of the parts you mess like, hey, it's okay to ask for help, especially nowadays. Like, oh, I got freaking 800 interviews on my belt and know freaking everything. I am the messiah of the podcasting microphone. Bow down to me now. It's like, no, it's still looking for help because
Yeah.
things will always change
Yeah.
and they keep changing. They
Yep.
simply keep changing. Oh man. So if your fabulous book, The Tao of Self-Confidence, if it were a food, what would it be and why?
Ramen. I love ramen. It's good comfort food.
There we go. There we go. Indeed, it's ramen.
Plus, I'm Asian. We love carbs.
There you go, folks. It's a book you can slurp.
I love that.
That's right, indeed. If you're lacking self confidence, get this towel self confidence. You can slurp the self confidence into you. That's right, indeed, metaphorically. If you actually slurp the book, send the video to Sheena for comedic purposes. Be like, oh, I didn't know folks actually had mouths like vacuums. All right. All right. All those pages. Man, it was a hardcover too. Like, okay. How'd they get it all down there? Oh man, well, we're coming down to the magical question that every guest gets to receive, and that is if you're to wake up tomorrow and you're 25 again, but you're still in the current year, what advice would you give to yourself?
Be okay to start messy.
Ah, all right. Yeah, she dialed in, y'all. That's right indeed. She ain't even had to think about that one. She's like, start the life messy, y'all. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. Sometimes you got to go through the junkyard, y'all. That's right indeed. And come out with a unicorn horn. But you have to take the banana peel off the unicorn horn. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. That's right. I can tell you're trying to figure out where the heck is this reference coming from. Don't worry, I don't know either.
It's all good.
Oh man, that's right indeed. Well, for those who want to also gain their magical unicorn horn of self-confidence, like even three horns would be a tricorn for the full Tao effect of the self-confidence to keep up with you and your journey. What's the best way for folks to do so?
Yeah, that's a great question. You can check out my website, sheenayapchan.com. You can check out my story. You can buy the books. There's also a free quiz to unlock your self-confidence personality. So it's all there. For the podcast, you can go to the Tao of Self-Confidence.com, or it's also available on all major podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, all the big podcast directories. For the book, The Tao of Self-Confidence, you can also get it on Barnes& and Nobles, Amazon, and other book retailers worldwide. It's so crazy when I say book retailers worldwide because it's like I didn't know that could ever happen. But I'm glad it did. And if you forgot anything that I mentioned, just Google my name, Sheena Yap Chan, because I'm the only Sheena Yap Chan on the internet.
There you go. There you have it, folks. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. We're that right, folks. Going to put a link to all of Sheena's goodies in the wonderful show notes. That way you can check out all of her wonderful wares and subscribe to her wonderful podcast, as well as buy some copies of her magical books. That's right indeed. And she's got more content coming indeed because she doesn't like to stay still, y'all. She's got some great content for you. That's right indeed. Some folks will rock you like a hurricane. Some folks will boulder you like a hurricane. She's got a boulder y'all. That's right indeed. Bigger than an ordinary rock of content. You'll be solid. That's right indeed. Solid Sheena's got you covered indeed. Well, before Penguin appears and tries to become the second Sheena Yap Chan, any parting word before we close up shop?
Yeah, just go out there and as much as you can live life to the fullest. It's so short. We don't know what's going to happen. And I know everyone's situation is different. So, just do the best that you can and just give yourself some grace.
If you're hearing this part of the episode, that means you're one cool individual. Thanks a bunch for tuning in, and if you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to share it with at least one other person in your network. Bonus points for 3. And be sure to check out the backlog too while you're at it, because there are hundreds of wonderful episodes to choose from as well.